Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and one of my friends and colleagues is in the house. It is a great day, and that is Admiral Terry Kraft. He's the president and CEO of the USS Midway Museum. Terry, how you doing?
Fantastic. Thanks, Drew. Great to be here.
Well, we really appreciate the content you provide. Is always top shelf on the iconic Midway Museum. Literally, we could have you on every single day. We won't even hit 1/10 of what you folks are doing. Joined by my long time now. It's over. It's 18 months now.
I think we keep adding a month to it every single time we do a podcast.
Yeah,
so
pretty soon it'll be like 15 years.
Probably, yeah.
Kristen Fogel is the executive director of San Diego Writers Inc. Celebrated their 20th anniversary last year, and it's just been an honor to have her as co-host. And I think you're ready to ask the Admiral a question.
I am so ready. So just for people that don't know, which they should all know, what's the mission of the Midway?
So the mission of the Midway is to honor the legacy of the USS Midway and honor all those who served in any capacity.
And Terry, you flew off the Midway, did you not?
I did. Yeah, I've got about 300 landings on the Midway in the A6 Intruder. I was a bombardier navigator in the A6 back in the day.
So it must be pretty special for you now to run the show.
It is. It's like coming home again. Walking aboard my old ship every single day is fantastic. Sometimes they'll ask me, hey, what did this space look like when you were on the ship in 91? And I'll go look and say, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I've been on a lot of ships since then.
No, I certainly understand that. And anybody who's, seen what the Midway has done, and you are a perfect transition from Mac McLaughlin, the certainly venerable, iconic CEO, original founder, and but I think just a great choice by the board, if I do say so myself. How's the transition been? How's it gone?
Well, it's been 2 years now. So,
wow.
The volunteers, I think they put an over-under on me lasting like a year. So I got past that. So I'm very happy with that. And, the time has just flown by. And when you're doing something you're passionate about, that you love, every day just moves quickly. And I love the people, over 750 volunteers on Midway, 240 staff. And they keep me going every day. I get a lot of advice, as you would imagine.
Right.
And it's just fun. And so the 2 years, the transition has been easy. And I love what I do.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And what we chatted out before, top on the list of things to do. There are many things that are on your list. This is a big one. Talk about the building of Freedom Park at Navy Pier.
Sure. So just to recap, 20 years ago when they gave us our parking spot, the Port of San Diego did in the water there, they said someday, and Coastal Commission said, you need to turn this into a veterans park. And the original founders, who were $8 million in debt at the time, said, sure, whatever. We'll do a park someday. Well, finally, that day has come home to roost. And it began about 3 years ago when the Port of San Diego got funding to redo the pilings on the pier, and that's really what kicked it off. The second phase is now complete. We've torn down that ugly building. Building 11 is gone.
Right.
You see Midway in all her glory. And for a lot of people, it's the first time they've really noticed the whole length of the ship.
Interesting.
Our chief engineer, Len Santiago, who was up having dinner at the Intercontinental with his wife at New Year's. And the server came over and said, hey, when did that big ship pull in? And he's like, that one? Well, it's been here for 20 years. That's the Midway. So it's if you haven't been down there and seen it with the building gone, it's very different and very impressive to me. But of course, I like that stuff.
Right. When is the they've broken ground on the park yet, or that's coming soon, or how's that? I know there's a million different phases.
So there's 2 more phases. The next phase is they're going to be finishing up underneath where that building was. The building sat there for 50 or so years.
Right.
The Navy, we're finding out the Navy used all kinds of different things under that building to kind of build out the foundation of the mole under the pier. Sometimes they use rocks, sometimes they use sand. So we've got to kind of reinforce what's underneath there. That's the next phase. And then the final phase will begin in 26 when we actually construct the park. And that's got to be done by February of 28. We're shooting for actually December of 27 to have the park complete and open.
So the parking lot now, it's right next to the Midway. That's gone pretty much?
It goes from 400 spaces to 100 spaces.
Okay.
Our volunteers will still have about 40 spaces up by the bow. They like to park very close to the ship.
Sure.
Some are mobility limited, so they'll still have that. But really the rest of the parking is going to transition under that huge HQ complex across the street, which has 3 city blocks of parking underneath. So about 2,200 spaces are underneath HQ.
Now, would that be shared with other groups? In that area, right?
We're negotiating to get an area for staff and volunteers, and then guests can park anywhere under there. There's also another surface lot, a new surface lot across the street as well. So there's tons of parking. Parking won't be an issue. I do talk about parking a lot because everybody loves to talk about parking.
Especially in this town. We're chatting with Terry Kraft. He's the president and CEO of the USS Midway Museum. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast. We're now in our 19th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, doing great things for more than 6 decades, joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel. She's the executive director of San Diego Writers Inc. Kristen?
Yeah, I think I brought this up last time, how I think it's amazing that TripAdvisor ranked you number 1 of things to do in San Diego out of over 400. And I mean, it's crazy if you haven't been there, but if you haven't, why should people from San Diego or people outside of San Diego come and partake in the Midway?
Yeah. Well, one of my efforts, 90% of the people that visit Midway on day-to-day, we're open from 9 to 5, are tourists. But what I'm trying to do is increase our penetration into San Diego, into the community, right? So one of the ways that we do that, there's a program called Museums for All. So if you're on food stamps, on SNAP, one of these programs, you can come on Midway for $3.
Nice.
Wow.
Our normal admission is $39. And I always wonder about the take rate. These programs are out there, but a lot of times the word doesn't get out. We've had 7,300 people take advantage of that over the past year.
That's great.
And when some people from San Diego come aboard, they're like, "Wow, we've never been to the water before. We've never seen the bay before," which to me just breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Because the Embarcadero, it's beautiful. We're upgrading it. It's getting nicer every single day. So, the reason people visit the Midway, they might think, okay, well, we'll look at an old gray ship for a little while, but they're always very surprised because they're going to meet a docent who's going to tell them different stories. Some of them are even true. And show them what they need to see and what they need to do. And suddenly they get very interested. The average length of stay on board the Midway for a visitor is 3 hours.
Wow.
And any museum would kill to get that kind of longevity for people staying aboard. And so that's what I love about Midway. And we read all our reviews. And that's what they're most surprised by is that they meet a docent, they meet a person who's going to tell them and walk them around the ship and answer any of their questions.
Yeah, I think you hit something that is near and dear to all of our hearts, and this is what the Midway, you have a lot of parts in your DNA, and one of them is giving back. We've been honored, as you know, Terry, to have been involved with you, Classroom of the Future Foundation, the very first event on the Midway. I might have mentioned this before, Kristen, before the Midway opened was our annual event. And Terry's been to this, and we really appreciate your longtime support, and Tina, of course, and Sarah beforehand of Classroom of the Future, which ties into Midway University. Just talk about that program. Just so important.
The education program?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have over 40,000 kids a year on board Midway as part of our education program. These are certified teachers. It's STEM focused, but then we put in a lot of other stuff. We talk about service, sacrifice, teamwork, etc. We service every school district in San Diego. If they can't get a bus, we get them a bus because buses are getting harder now.
They are.
And they come aboard Midway. There's also field trips. There's sleepovers. 3,000 kids a year do sleepovers.
Cool.
At Christmas time, we had all the Gold Star families on board, which was really cool. I got to talk to them one morning. So the education program is a big part. It's really a centerpiece of what we do. Any museum should have something like that. But we've just kind of gone crazy with it. During COVID, we started doing virtual trips to the Midway, and now we're in all 50 states. So we interact with classrooms in all 50 states now. Hawaii was the last one to fall.
Yeah, and the ones who have done this and, been to the Classroom of the Future Foundation's annual event, and of course, Terry, you've been up there presenting the award, and you guys are always very magnanimous in giving scholarships to those underserved folks.
Yeah.
But you brought up something that Kristen and I have talked about quite a bit on the show, and it never ceases to amaze certain people that there are many folks living in San Diego County that have never been to the beach, never been to the water, never been to the mountains, never been to a Padre game or an Aztec game. And we should never lose sight of that. There's a lot of folks that have never done these things. So seeing the Midway is huge for them.
So one example is 2 Christmases ago, we started Jingle Jets. And that is, we light up the whole Midway.
I want to go.
You got to go.
I haven't been able to go.
We have Santa Claus on an ejection seat and a flight suit, of course. So you can come visit Santa, Kristen, when you're there.
Thank you.
And we have tons of stuff in the hangar bay on the flight deck. And it's just fun. And it really flips. Instead of 90% tourists, it's 90% local San Diego. We also did a dedicated push to Univision and some of the other outlets to get to some of the underserved areas. And people come out and they're like, "Whoa, I want to see the rest of the ship." We're like, "Well, you got to come back during the daytime."
Yeah.
But Jingle Jets has been a way for us to reconnect with the community because the Embarcadero was kind of a dead zone at Christmas, especially at night. And that it's really reinvigorated it. It's getting families down to the Embarcadero. The first year we did it 2 years ago, we needed about 13,000 people to break even on the deal. We had over 20,000. Wow. This year when we did it, we were over 24,000. So we're going to keep doing it. And all the memorial events we do on Midway are all open, free to the community, and they come aboard. And we've got some pretty big ones coming up this year.
No, it's fantastic. When we come back from break, Terry, I want to talk about other capital projects we have. Can't wait to hear about this new exhibit that's going to be on the Midway as well when we return with Terry Kraft, President and CEO of the USS Midway Museum. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel, the Executive Director of San Diego Writers, Inc. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 19th year, brought to you by the fine folks of Mission Fed Credit Union, 6 decades plus, doing great things in San Diego County, whether it's food insecurity, it's the arts, it's literacy, everything in between. Joined by Terry Kraft, President and CEO of USS Midway Museum, and Kristen Fogel, my co-host. She's the Executive Director of San Diego Writers, Inc. Kristen?
Yeah, let's talk about the new exhibit.
Absolutely. So you may not know that Midway is the #1 ship museum in the world. We've opened up more spaces on our ship than any other museum ship. And last year, we opened up a new exhibit. We call it the engineering exhibit. And really what museums are about, I'm sure you have a lot of museum folks in here that tell you these things, but displays now need to be interactive, they need to be authentic, and they need to be personal. And those are our three kind of guideposts, if you will, when we open up a new exhibit. Last year with the engineering exhibit, we told the story of the engineers on Midway and really the dangers that sailors face every day in an aircraft carrier when you mix steam and fuel and bombs and everything else on the ship and all the things that are happening all the time. It's dangerous, and it can result in fires and those kind of things. So we tell the story of some of the bigger carrier fires. So when I came aboard, I wanted to recreate a space where I spent a lot of time in, and that was during Desert Storm in our CVIC, or Carrier Intelligence Center. So this was a top secret space where, pilots went down and they interacted with all the intelligence specialists to plan these strike missions. So during Desert Storm, I was flying the A6, which we did strikes every night. So when I wasn't flying or sleeping, I was down there planning, because you needed to know about, okay, what are the threats? What's trying to kill me? What's the target I need to take out? What are all the details on that? And all the other things about getting your strike package together and going into enemy territory and coming back. It was very stressful, especially at the beginning of the war. And I wanted to recapture that whole thing. So we're in reopening the Carrier Intelligence Center, we're going to take people back. First, we're going to take them into a space that only 1% of the crew could even go into because it was top secret. We're going to take them back into Desert Storm time frame. We're going to introduce them to Navy Intel professionals, and then we're going to actually have them plan a mission with all the things that they learn while they're down there. That's the interactive part. See how they do. And then we're going to sneak in a whole lot of Midway history in between.
Wow, that's going to be fantastic. When's it open up?
So we're going to open up officially June 27th.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we announced we're going to break the spoiler alert that the Spotlight on the Community show will be there live when it opens up. We can't wait. We're very excited about it.
I'm really excited about it. We put a lot of work into it. The Navy Intelligence Professionals, NIP, they pitched in because, of course, the Intel types are very excited. And there's really very few tributes to Intel professionals that you find. Everybody knows about Top Gun and pilots and that kind of stuff. But really, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the intelligence people, the intelligence sailors and officers who got us over the beach and got us back.
How long have you been working on the exhibit?
A year and a half.
Yeah.
So pretty much almost when you got here, right?
Yeah. Hell, it coincided with when I got here. Yeah. What do you know?
What a shock on that. I think that's fantastic. And does that take special funding for this?
Sure.
To do that. Okay.
Yeah, we fund it as a capital project, but we've had some donations as well, and we're always looking for other partners. There's kind of a partnership wall that's available, and we're talking to some different companies who might also pitch in on that.
I'm also curious about, did you need to get certain clearances and things like that to, have this be a public
Well, that's the good part about involving all these intelligence folks is they know what's secret still and what's not. Mm-hmm. And they're all pack rats. They've given us all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm looking through it like, none of this is secret anymore, right? No, it's good. It's good. We promise.
How fascinating.
But it's stuff that was classified at the time that people are going to be exposed to and see a lot of the insider stuff. And the authentic piece is, we've got we have quotes and interviews from people so they can pick up these kind of red phones and they can listen to people who were down there at the time and what they went through.
Are you on one of those?
I am on one of those.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, as a matter of fact.
Oh my goodness!
Well, we use a company called Art Processors, who they're fantastic, and this gal Christine will interview you for like an hour, and then it'll be like a minute 30 clip or something.
Wow.
Oh, that is terrific. How many of the folks that flew with you on the Midway have been on the ship and have seen, and are they going to see this exhibit?
Plenty. Yeah. As a matter of fact, some of our docents actually were in the air wing with me.
Oh, is that right?
Midway at the time. Yeah. It's really going to bring people back. When we opened the engineering exhibit, people were coming out with tears in their eyes. Mm. And that's what I'm going for.
Well, I got to tell you, Tina, the education director now, we were meeting to do some, sponsorship partnership with CFF. And, she got a few minutes here. I want to show you this exhibit. And she took me through the engineering. That was fantastic. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, that's kind of the new state of the art of exhibits, and that's what we're into now.
Yeah, I mean, where the fires are. Here's some some things you got to be careful about, which is like 24/7, 365. You guys did a great job on that exhibit.
Thank you.
And it was phenomenal. You got some other capital projects you're working on, correct?
Sure do.
Yeah. Talk about those.
We're putting in a new people elevator on one of our brows.
Okay.
Because the one we use right now is aging out. It's 20 years old. Okay. So we're replacing that. We're changing the bollards on the pier. The bollards are the things that the carrier ties up to. Because we move 8 to 12 feet fore and aft with every high and low tide. And that puts a strain on our brows and everything else. So because nobody ever thought a carrier would be tied up to Navy Pier. So we're replacing some of that. So we'll be more secure. We'll only move a couple feet.
Right.
So those are some of the capital projects that we're doing.
So one of the questions I get asked from my friends who know that I know you and I knew Mac and I'm on the Midway quite a bit. And of course I had no answer for this as usual. How do they get those planes on the Midway? How do you do that?
Well, first off, we have a hangar over on North Island on the base in Coronado that the base has very graciously given us, where we do all our refurbishment, all our restoration on our aircraft. So a couple times a year, we're moving aircraft from North Island onto the Midway and aircraft on the Midway over to North Island for refurbishment.
Right.
So it's a floating crane. So the base helps us tow the plane over to the carrier piers. We put them on a floating crane. They drive them over, and then we crane them on, and we'll crane them off, and we'll do that once or twice a year.
And how many will you shift? It just depends on, the time of year or not?
Yeah, one or two planes a year. So we're bringing back our A1E Sky Raider, which we'd sent back. We've been restoring that for over a year. That's coming back. And the RA-5 Vigilante, we're sending that over to the hangar because that's getting a little beat up on the flight deck.
Right. We're chatting with Terry Kraft, President and CEO of the USS Midway Museum. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel. She is the Executive Director of San Diego Writers Inc. Kristen?
Yeah. I wonder if you could talk about some of these training programs for like the DOD and Homeland Security. And you guys do so much. Like Drew said, we could be here all day, but can you talk a little bit about those?
Well, I always compare Midway to an active duty carrier, which is really, an active duty carrier. You're busy around the clock, especially when you're underway. Mm-hmm. So on Midway, early in the mornings is when we have, all of our first responders do a lot of training on board Midway. This week we've got canines on board. We have dogs on board. They train underneath the hull. There's always divers doing things under the hull, doing training. Police train there. When I took over, I wanted to do two things. One was a full fire drill because I do worry about fire, as you saw in the exhibit.
Exactly.
So we had a 3-alarm fire with three different precincts there responding on Midway with hooks and ladders and all that. And unfortunately, I wanted to do an active shooter drill as well, and we did that. Because I do think about that as well. There's a threat. Midway would be a crazy place if that happened. So we work with police departments, and we did that. So they're always training, and then we actually do coordinated training with them because I think about all those things all the time.
Well, yeah, absolutely. You have to do that.
Yeah.
Sari, what can our listeners do to support your efforts? We always ask you that question, but we really can't do enough.
Right.
Yeah. What can we do?
Well, if you're CEO of a company or you're so inclined, we'd love to have you partner with us on Freedom Park. We still have to raise $30 million for our Freedom Park commitment. So Laura White is the president of our foundation, so we're always doing that. If you just want to play a part, you can buy a brick, and that's very easy to do. Go on the website, buy a brick. These are the same bricks that you see at Petco, up at SoFi, and a lot of other places. It's pretty cool. So when you buy a brick on Midway, it's going to be laid right there where Building 11 used to be on the parade ground, and they actually send you a replica brick. But that's caused a problem because some people get the brick in the mail and they're like, "Hey, I got my brick. What do I need to come down there and stick it in?"
You got to mortar it yourself.
It's a problem.
We didn't tell you that, yeah.
It's a problem. And so we said,
hilarious.
no, the brick is for you. You get to keep the brick.
That's hilarious.
And So anybody can participate in Freedom Park, big or small.
Yeah.
And I'd invite them to do that.
How about volunteers?
We're always looking for volunteers.
Yeah.
Always looking for volunteers. Same thing. You can go to our website, midway.org.
Right.
And you can volunteer. Our volunteers volunteer across the ship. You don't have to be a docent. You can be in the safety department, admin department. You can restore aircraft. You can help us restore the ship. They're just amazing people. And I really feel like we're extending people's lives when they volunteer, because the three things are mobility. They're very mobile. They run all around the ship. Socialization. They're incredibly social. I know where all their happy hours are every day. And sense of purpose. I mean, they love the Midway, and they love to take care of the ship. So we absolutely couldn't do it without them.
Well, it's always an honor having you on, Terry. The great content you provide. Just can't thank you enough, and all your colleagues on the USS Midway Museum. We're very excited at the Spotlight Show and Cloudcast Media to be coming on and doing a special edition leading up to the June opening of your new exhibit, and then being there live. And just thank you so much for you and your phenomenal team and the docents for all you continue to do for San Diego. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Drew. Great to be on.
Absolutely.
Kristen, thank you.
You bet. Chatting with Terry Kraft, President and CEO of the USS Midway Museum. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 19th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things in San Diego County, joined by my co-host, Kristen Vogel of San Diego Writers, Inc. We hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.